The local game returns. Press for Time has the latest on the Under-20s Asian Cup run from overnight. Plus Nicole Blackett chases down her team in Club Talk at Kilburn this week. Plus we'll take a look at round one, bumper crowds and big results. And this weekend, excitement builds as the rivalry returns. We hear from the two presidents ahead of the big game this weekend. That's all coming up in today's episode of The Local Game. Hello and welcome back to The Local Game for episode 2. It's great to have you back on board. I'm your host, Johnny Keko. And what a big week it's been in football. We had round one kicking off with the rvalry state leagues. We've got another couple rounds kicking off, kicking off this weekend as well. But it's a pleasure to welcome in my co-host for this week, Alessio Carrocci. Good to have you back, mate.
Good to be here again. Excited for a new season, and this week's where it's all heating up. A couple more leagues starting up, and yeah, it's going to be some fiery derbies, I reckon, as well. Especially for you as well. You're back this year with Mount Barker United, State League 2, now split in half. Actually, when I said a couple of leagues, I mean 3 leagues, because there's 2 just in the State League 2, and then also WSL. Yeah, it's going to be massive. I mean, a couple new teams coming in from both leagues as well. A couple of WSL teams as well, looking for a good start to the season. Hopefully some more promotions, but yeah, exciting week. Yes, can't wait to see how that all pans out. State League 2, we'll get through that a bit later on today. Have a look at what those fixtures look like for round 1 in the north and the south, and also the WSL, which kicks off again this weekend. Well, let's go straight into the hot topics this week. We got 3 big ones to chat about. Well, the first one, WNPL kicked off on the weekend. All games from Saturday got pushed over to Sunday, which made Friday night action even that much more anticipated with that one game that everyone wanted to get to. Campbelltown City, Metro Stars, a massive turnout. I believe a rough count of around 1,500 people may have been there on the night. The lineup was still going, and this is what the lineup looked like exactly 30 minutes into the game. We got caught up on it until we realised we could get straight through with our accreditation, but we lined up like good people. But what a great attendance it is to really kick off this season. Yeah, well, I mean, you're seeing it across all of Australia, the NPL leagues, that everybody's getting their act together and getting a lot of crowds promoting it much better, and they've got the incentive of the Australian Championship at the end. So a lot of fans trying to come and see these players before they might hit the national stage. Yeah, and unfortunately for Campbelltown, they had that big crowd behind them. There was a lot of Metro Stars fans in attendance as well, but they couldn't get the result they wanted, obviously, with a 3-0 loss, and they didn't even get a goal to celebrate. But for themselves, though, they would have made a lot of money over the bar, which is, I think, is great for these teams that win the grand final to have that opportunity to host and choose who they get to play with. Yeah, I mean, the chicken rolls were flying out there as well when we got past there. And the lineup for the food was even that at the 20th minute, it was chock-a-block. So it's good to see them get a home crowd anyway that big. And I'm sure we'll see them open their account next week against Bacala. But otherwise, it's good to see fans from both teams. Yes, absolutely. And what also is good to see is the under-20, we're going to the World Cup. The boys did an amazing job on the last week, which is fantastic. First time in 12 years. And there's a lot of South Australian boys. And the first 2 goals in a 3-2 win were from Jovanovic and Kikianis. How awesome is this to see these next generation? We got about 6 or so players in that squad from South Australia. How good is it to see these boys doing so well and also creating history? Yeah, I mean, it's massive for the state as well. I mean, there's not many players in the past when we've gone to World Cup that have been from SA. We talk about your good wins. Even Yaya Dakuli went to Under-17 World Cup. So to see about 5 or 6 in the core of the squad coming from the state, it's just amazing to see. And they're contributing in a massive way. Yeah, and even with Hall as well, Stephen Hall in goals. My favourite moment of that was at the end of the game. He put us some great saves in that fixture, but for him, in that one that got him through to the semi-finals, but for him, I think that emotion at the end was something I really loved to see. He was crying and just a pure emotion for happiness. I'm assuming it was for joy. Yeah, I mean, it's just so cool to see players that have come up in our local leagues as well, come playing on the big stage. And Under-20 World Cup, I mean, we've seen in the past, if you look at some of the names that have played through there, won tournaments, won golden balls in there, there's some of the best names in the world have played at these tournaments. So it's probably a good place to show for other clubs as well. Yeah, especially the LA United boys as well. It's a disappointment for LA United because they're without some of these big players, and it may be shown on the weekend with that 3-0 loss against Western United. But to have these boys on this stage and now on their way to a World Cup could only do even better for LA United because they're going to come back with a bit more experience. And I think they'll be raring to go as well to show themselves back in the A-League. Yeah, I'm sure they will as well. I mean, their clubs are missing, and not even just Adelaide. There's obviously players from all across the country in their local A-League teams as well that are missing them at the moment. But it's it's good to see youngsters doing well.
Absolutely. Well, another thing that's good to see as well is this third topic is local facilities. We've seen some great facilities over the last few years with Service FM Stadium and some other recent ones as well, with Kilburn finally opening up after a very long wait. But this weekend, we're going to see the inclusion of some more facilities, some that were pre-existing and some that are finally able to host games. Looking at Pontian Eagles, who just played their first home match in the State League 1 at their home ground. Metro Stars this weekend will host their first home game at their newly finished facility as well. But Ellis Park on Friday night, it's going to be exciting because they've had a long wait to get to this point. And earlier last year, episode 2, very ironic because this is episode 2 now. In episode 2, we covered on the story with the local council not approving them to get their fence and then overturning that later on, and they got to build their fence before the end of last season. Now it's finally here. They can play their first home match for the men's NPL and eventually play some double headers there with their women as well, which is awesome to see, and all kicks off this Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, even just some of the upgrades as well that Pontian was just talking about on Monday. They had a commentator. Their first game actually live streamed. They get a commentator. They're going to have a bumper crowd. It's a standalone Monday fixture. No Blue Eagles games that night. So it's going to be great for them. And a grass pitch as well. Who can complain?
Absolutely. And, the Ellis Park one, I'll be there commentating, which I'm very excited for, to be there for the first time ever at Ellis Park. So for me, I'm very interested to see how it does go because parking will be a bit of an issue, I believe. But it'll be good to see how it does go, and it will only be good and benefit the club as well for them having the games at their home venue. First time they're able to do that. So I'm very excited for Comets, and it's great to see these clubs being able to really push and add a bit of a home fortress now for most of these NPL clubs.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're banking on, everyone to get an Uber there and maybe go to the city after.
Yeah.
No parking needed. But otherwise, yeah, it'd be great for them to have finally a home base and maybe a lot of plays in that area. Maybe it's a lot of students as well over the schools and the student accommodation around there as well. That's where they'll be on a Friday night.
Well, a Friday night after work, double header, women's and men's, would be amazing. Leave the office, go, you know what, let's go grab a beer. Let's actually head down to the Comets and watch a football match on a Friday night, or 2 football matches, even better, and to get some food and dinner. I think it's going to be great, and hopefully it does pay out for the club, which would be good to see. So anyone else going to be doing some stuff and facilities and that, reach out to us. We'd love to cover all the different new facilities being built around the club and any plans in the future as well. It's good to cover that on the show, and like we did last year with the Comets one, it was good to be able to focus on that and report on that current story, and now see it where it's come to now.
Yeah, I mean, you got like a few more that we talked about. Some of the teams coming into the State League 2. Elizabeth Grove getting a new facility in 2027.
Yep.
The Salisbury Inter one, that's the first time I've seen it or been to it as well. So if that's going to start hosting, hopefully maybe women's games in the future for Salisbury Inter. So otherwise, a couple of these new teams, Titans, maybe they'll get a venue in the future. But the more to come, the more the merrier.
Absolutely. Well, let's move into the next one. We spoke about it just a second ago, Kilburn. I head down there this week and we did Club Talk with Nicole Blackett. I think she's the most appeared any type of guest on this show. I think it's her 4th appearance. So she's made the most appearances after any of the co-hosts. Yeah. So here she is with Club Talk at Kilburn.
I'm Nicole Blackett. I'm at West Adelaide here at training. Just going to ask the girls some questions and pester them a little bit. Okay, in celebration of Gemma McFarlane's birthday today, how old is she turning?
18.
Correct! No, wrong.
24.
Nice, good job. Hey, get back here. Rick! Georgia Macri, it's your birthday. I have a question for you.
What's my birthday?
Tell! You're injured, you now can't play on Friday. Can you name me 3 countries in Africa?
South Africa.
Yep.
Nigeria.
Yep.
Kenya.
She's a traveller, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 3 cities in Canada. This should be easy. You are Canadian.
Edmonton, the best one. Toronto. Vancouver.
Nice. Yeah. How many continents can you name?
South America,
Yes.
North America,
Yes.
Asia.
Asia.
Africa. Is that? Oh, yeah.
No, get Gemma McFarlane.
It's Gemma's birthday today. What's something you love about Gemma?
She is hilarious. She's a very funny girl.
Does she mean to be funny?
I think she tries. She tries.
Thank you very much.
That's okay.
Come on out, guys. Looks like you sleep. Macri, you're off the hook. You're off the hook. Maddie, you're off the hook. Victoria. Now, you guys are very, very blessed to be having this conversation because these guys are a big part of our record season. How many goals did we concede last year? Erin?
10? Less? No. More or less? 9.
I thought it was 11. I don't know the answer.
No, it was 11.
11.
Oh, we knew that.
Yeah. It's very cold. There's penguins there.
No, I'm done.
Antarctica. And one where Lily DeCola is at the moment. Rude. Where's she gone?
She's in Scotland, right? Europe.
Yeah, Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's done it. Well done, Maddie. How many goals did West Adelaide score last year?
75.
He's a stats man. Well done. That's all we could manage to get. They pretend to be quite shy when the camera's around. They're not. But that's all we have. Hope to see you all at Kilburn this year, catching some of the fixtures.
Well, we always love Club Talk. We're going to head out next week somewhere else. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be a special one right after the big rivalry. But some of those girls didn't want to be on the microphone. They absolutely hated the camera. Is it the same in your change room?
No, I mean, we've done a few TikToks about favourite footballers, favourite kits that we're wearing, and everyone just loves to get their face in there. So I'm sure it's a lot different. Yes, but we're good sports at the end of the day, and thanks to Nicole for doing that and for being our most appeared regular guest on the show so far in the second season. Well, anyway, let's head to a short break. On the other side, we got more talk, especially talking about some cultural stuff at clubs and history, and also we'll feature the round 1 fixtures. That's all coming up on The Local Game.
As the president of FK Beograd, it's an honour to have the rivalry round against Adelaide Raiders. It's always a pleasure to host them. This time around we're playing them at home earlier in the season, which probably be good for us because the weather's much better.
It's obviously something as a club we're really motivated to be involved in. I think even as an NPL fixture, it's up there as the best fixture of the round.
And I think for the local boys that have played at the club a long time, sometimes you hang your hat and you look forward to these rivalry games, sort of similar to the Collingwood Essendon and Anzac Day games in footy. It had something special.
You know, as a Croatian community, obviously there's a lot of history back there. A lot of it's good, a lot of it's bad, but that's the past. You know, back in the day, we all remember the days. Thank God they're over. But now, you know, in the 20th century, we're both independent. And we've got huge respect for Andrew and Beograd Football Club.
I think the relationships between the two sides, given the rivalry, it's getting better and better. So sets of committees talk and liaise with each other, and it's for the better of the game. And we look forward to hosting them. Round 2 here should be a huge game for the club and a great advertisement for local soccer. It's going to be a Sunday evening game. It's great weather, still daylight saving, so it should be a huge crowd. You know, plenty of food, plenty of kids around, food, supporters, and every day a host of local beers and international beers, so great food. And there'll be a lot of obviously mingling, and like I said, it's a great advertisement for local football.
This round and our round, I think it's on June, long weekend on the King's birthday, would be a standalone as well, and we both clubs purposely scheduled them to be standalone because it deserves to be. It's a lot wider than just the Serbian and Croatian community. We've got Italians, Greeks, Aussies. Everyone wants to get in there and be part of the spectacle. It's again, it's second to none, and we're expecting a big turnout, hopefully for Beograd as well. Again, hopefully we just get a win.
So the boys are very excited. There's a lot of, we signed 4 or 5 new players who have never played in a derby, so they're up and about, and they'll soon know at kick-off time how exciting the game really is.
Yeah, and I'm hoping Sunday that we get a good turnout. Last year was a little bit disappointing. We thought that could have been a few more of us out there on the game. So we know when they come to our ground, there's a big passionate turnout, and we're hoping that our community does the same. We need to support them like they support us, and keep everything at a good level, and don't be an idiot. Thank you.
Everyone gets up for these types of games, and may the best team win.
Well, it's a big rivalry again this weekend. The third one since its return last year, and the first one for this season, and hosted by Beograd. Both presidents raring to go, and we're raring to go as well this weekend. We love these rivalries, and it's instantly taken back off again, and the passion has always been there.
Yeah, I mean, the crowds just bumper every time we go there as well. I mean, I was just at the Beograd home first game of the season. I'm not sure what the Raiders crowd was like, but you could see it on the live stream. The numbers are coming out now. The more and more these leagues are getting shown, the more and more people come. And a derby like this, I'm sure it's going to be one of the biggest ones of the weekend.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. And Club Talk will probably happen straight after that as well. I'll get one of the players to walk around. Now I'll be happy or disappointed. Who knows? But a lot of passion that will be there, that's for sure. So head down there, go and support it. These rivalries, I know there's a lot of culture behind it, and that's what I love about it. And I know, speaking to a lot of people, that's what people love about football, is the culture, especially now that clubs are able to embrace it, whether it be with calling themselves their original names, or by having colours of the national flags on their jerseys, or by these rivalries as well, being able to return and really showcase what these clubs are truly about. I'm very much looking forward to it, especially the food.
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially coming into the game as well. Both teams coming off a loss last week, a tough one. Both at their home ground, so to now see them play off against each other, someone's got to get the result here, unless a boring 0-0 draw comes out.
Definitely. Oh, let's hope not. But I don't think, even if it is a 0-0 draw, I don't think it will be boring in this fixture, that's for sure. But let's talk about some of the other cultural things that are happening, and also history of clubs that they're celebrating this year. There's a few, we won't be able to touch on all of them, and if we do miss out on a couple, we do apologise. But some of the most notable ones that we need to talk about this year as well is Bologna, their 75 years anniversary this year. And for most of you that that may have watched the broadcast or seen their social media, they got a big P to represent Bologna, where they've come from, obviously. For me, I like the history, and being able to showcase the P for Bologna is where they all come from, obviously known as Croydon FC now. And their old grounds used to be called Bologna Reserve. So it is, for me, personally, I like it. But what do you think of clubs being able to showcase this cultural background, and also where they came from?
I mean, I think it's fantastic. I like, especially when they try and do something special with the kits or the logo. It's a major piece that you can hang up, or a lot of people just keep around their house. That's their favourite thing to wear. I've seen jackets in the past that Bologna had. I've seen Croatia Raiders have their own things at the back. Hellers have stuff on the back of their training kits. So I think the more it happens, the better it's going to look. And I think it's great for the fans as well. It's a good way to get maybe some older fans back into the game and go, oh, you had one of these kits when you were growing up. Here's one that they did now. So, yeah, it's very similar.
Absolutely. And I do like it. And they've got one in their club rooms as well, next to an old jacket. So it looks really cool. And it's something I really love, and the clubs get to embrace it. We saw Adelaide City with their adding their national Italian colours on there as well, which I love. But also some other clubs that have really gone back to to celebrate big milestones. Metro United in the WNPL, they've got a kit that's very nice looking, the black and gold one. That's to recognise 20 years for them. That's huge for a women's club to be celebrating something that a massive milestone.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the retro merchandise. We're talking about Adelaide City. They got their retro jacket inspired from, I think it was the 1992 season. Metro got a similar retro jacket out coming now. I think the men's, at least. I think the women will wear it as well, but that's for about 20 to 30 years for both of those teams. So it's great to see.
Yeah, 30 for the men, 20 for the women. I know all these clubs are going to be celebrating later this year as well with big celebrations, which is great. I think it's good for clubs to go back. And also, Modbury Jets, 60 years this year as well. So I've been given this polo shirt, but it's got the old logo on it. You will be able to see that logo on the back of the Modbury Jets number, on the back of their numbers. They got a small logo on it, but that will be on the front of their amateur team. So it's really cool to see them embracing their history as well. And it's a very nice polo, that one there. Yeah, it's good. I think it's great to see these clubs celebrating it. All clubs usually do celebrate their big milestones, but being able to add their culture in it as well is one thing I love to touch on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of clubs going back, especially some of their kits to what has been originally done. I know I've seen teams in the lower leagues, even Pontian, they had one of their first kits as an away kit last year. I've seen other teams do similar, Pirates as well. Yeah. So they definitely have specific old things they go back to when they have these type of events.
Absolutely. Well, we love all those SOPs, and we love discussing that type of stuff. And for me, especially coming into football, Italian background, you got an Italian background as well. It's good to see these cultures celebrated. So that's what football is about, and I think that's what sets us apart from other sports in South Australia and also Australia. So it's fantastic to see these clubs embracing where they've come from, and let's get behind them as well. If clubs have a big celebration, whether it be a heritage match in the WNPL, WSL, or the NPL and state leagues, definitely head out to them, because a big crowd for that really helps these clubs to not only celebrate 20 to 60 years, but to have another 20 to 60 plus more years to come for us getting behind them. Anyway, we're going to go back to a short break. On the other side, we are going to talk about the upcoming round 1 fixtures for the WSL and State League 2 North and South, plus the results from the weekend. That's all coming up. Don't go anywhere. It is the local game.
Your time is now. When passion runs through you, become your own hero.
Welcome back to the local game. It is an absolute flying season so far, or the year, sorry. We're 2 months into the year. The NPL is already round 1 done, same with the State League, but round 1's coming up for the State League 2 this weekend, as well as the WSL. But this weekend as well is the final round of the WNPL Pre-Season Cup, and that is NTC and West Adelaide taking on each other. Big occasion for the final match before the round 1 kicks off for them. I think it's a hard one to tell without seeing any games, but I reckon West Adelaide will get the job done there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how they work it out, but if they count that in their quadruple charge, then one of those teams is going to have a good start to their season. But yeah.
Plenty of action still to come. We've got the State League 2 kicking off this weekend. Let's take a look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. For that one there, the big standout is, well, your team playing Strikers, Mount Barker and the Strikers. How are you expecting this one to go? You've had some good games in the off-season performances, but for round 1, how are you guys faring as Mount Barker?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got quite a few young players in. I was looking at our team, especially with the rules coming in the next few years of the NPL, how you have to have some players under, I think it's 23 or 25.
Yep.
I think we only have about 3 players over the age of 25 in our whole squad. So we've got a very young team, very hungry team, but Friday night, 8 p.m. kickoff at Western Strikers. It doesn't get tougher than that. The last time we played them, when they're in the State League 2, I think they made the grand final back-to-back years, finished second, but they didn't beat us at home. So
Gun and Inter, 2 teams coming into the league for the first time, are taking each other on in the northern side of the league. Big occasion, both willing to step up. I reckon that's got a bit of fire behind it.
Yeah, I mean, Ferreton Park as well. I think it's been quite a long time since a league game's been played there. They've made that their own now, Gun, Kilburn. The food's going to be pumping, the smoke's going to be going. So hopefully there's fire on the pitch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there will be some fire on the pitch as well. In the club rooms, I went there in the off-season, and the food down there is incredible. The president owns his own restaurant, so they look after the catering there as well. It is authentic Afghani food. So make sure you head down and get something to eat, watching football. I'm looking forward to going to down there for a game this year, because Ferreton Park is a very cool local venue to be at. So it will be a great vibe. But these new teams coming into the leagues, I think is fantastic. A split split State League 2 is going to be very interesting this year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if Salisbury United are anything to go by, Salisbury Inter must have a big fan base as well. And some of their players playing come from Salisbury United as well. So they've got some quality there, and I think they've got big expectations this year.
Definitely do. I've had the pleasure of heading out into all 5 of the new clubs in the off-season. We'll have some features on those clubs in the next coming weeks. So stay tuned for that to really get an insight to what these clubs mean and coming into the state leagues for themselves. But I think they're all raring to go. How they go on the pitch, different story. But as a club and fan base as well, and also the players, they're all excited to be a part of the federation this year. So very, very much looking forward to it. Let's take a look at the Women's State League, the WSL. This weekend, round 1 kicks off, and it is Elizabeth Grove. They're coming off a cup win in the Pre-Season Cup. They beat the Jaguars on the weekend. They will be playing their first game against Modbury Vista. So that's going to be a big test for them as well, because Modbury Vista, not a bad side as well in the WSL, but they'll be hosting Modbury Vista. So be interesting to see how that fixture goes, because Grove obviously a good side as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see in the WSL the amount of good women's teams that's come from the north. You talked about Elizabeth Grove, Modbury Vista. They've been in the playoff final the last couple of years. You got Jaguars who are in the final with Grove there as well. So that's going to be an interesting promotion spot with only one team automatically going up. It's going to be a big fight.
Well, that's the state leagues all done for this weekend. Round 1 kicks off. We can't wait. Moving forward, we'll look at the results. Now talking about results, some big action on the weekend. Let's take a look at the first results from the state leagues on the weekend. The State League 1 kicked off with a bang and ended with a bang as well. An 8-2 win for Sturt Lions. They're wanting to really prove a point this year to get back into the NPL, and they did that against Cove, who have come from the State League 2. An 8-2 win, 4-0 at half-time. And Ollie Grant gave a little bit to him as well when he scored one of those goals, but for Cove. But what a massive way to start for Sturt.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to get into coaching for John Fusca. I mean, after half-time, he would have thought, this is what it's all cracked up to be. Why shouldn't I should have become a coach about 5 years ago. But yeah, he's not going to be happy as a defender without keeping a clean sheet. A couple of late goals there for Cove in the end. But it's a great start for Sturt. They're going to have way more better challenges this year. But there's no better way to start, especially at home as well.
Any other key results tickle your fancy from what you saw on the weekend? Because I think Vipers getting a 1-1 draw against West Adelaide's a big one.
Yeah, it's a massive one. I mean, I've just been told from some of their players that we underestimated them in our predictions. Vipers, a lot of people had them near the bottom. But beating a team that's probably a title contender in West Adelaide is a massive result for them. And of course, the man who's bitten the hand that fed him, George Katsianis, scores against West Adelaide, the team who I think he might have ended up the top scorer for last year. So to score late on for Vipers, get a massive pointer for them. Yeah, it's good. It's good for them.
Absolutely. And let's talk about some of the results now from the other league, the NPL, which kicked off Friday night. The Metro Stars got the job done. They've recruited very well this season, and 2 debuts and a goal for these 2 players in Tom Visser, making his debut at Metro Stars. A very good player coming from Croydon last year. Scored the opener, and then obviously Owen Windsor scoring 2 goals as well to make it 3-0.
Yeah, even just talking to some of the Metro players after that, I was gobsmacked about how good Tom Visser was, but even they were as well. They said he's just coming to the team and he's just taken like a duck to water.
I've loved watching him play the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's a left back the last couple of years. Who's been missing the beat to put him up front for the last couple of seasons? Because if he can score goals like that, then boy, they got something on their hands.
He's a very good young player, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he does go in the future. So hopefully this is where he's going to really take off over here in Metro Stars. And then all the games on the Sunday. We thought we were only going to have 1 game on Sunday, but we ended up with a whole flurry of games, which was fantastic to see. We had 5 games kicking off. The one that really surprised me as well was a 3-0 lead for Para Hills Knights, but then to end it with a 3-3 draw with West Torrens Bacala, who have got something to prove this season as well with the big recruits they've brought in.
Yeah, I mean, something to prove from the bench as well. Tyrese Conway on at half-time. Quick fire hat trick to make it 3-3. I was talking to him during the week and I said, why don't they start you? And he said, I've been injured the last couple of weeks, so they had to manage me. And I said, I can only play about 45 if you need me. But boy, did they need him after that.
Absolutely. He played very well. It's good to see these players. They're also bringing in some big guns as well, with George Blackwood just coming in from the A-League as well. So they're coming in with a point to prove, Berkella. And when I saw the score being 3-0 down, I was very surprised. But the end result is not too surprising to see them come back. But a 3-3 draw between those two, I was not expecting that.
Doesn't get any easier for them as well, hosting Campbelltown, the reigning champions of the NPLSA as well, next weekend on a Friday night. a late game, 8:15 kickoff I think it is. So they're hopefully going to have a big result there and maybe a big crowd as well.
We're going to go to Antonis Pagonis now from Front Page Football with Press for Time. He's got some more info on that game between Australia under-20s against Japan.
Well, Johnny, the big news this week has to be the Young Socceroos not just qualifying for the World Cup, but also beating Japan with 6 South Australians to make the Under-20s Asian Cup Final. We saw 2 combining Johnny Yao and Musa Toure to open the scoring, a great win and a big opportunity for an Australian national team to win silverware this weekend against Saudi Arabia. Let's go, Young Socceroos. We'll all be watching.
Well, thank you, Antonis Pagonis. Absolute pleasure as always. Press for Time, one of my favourite segments. Everyone asked me as well prior to last week. They said, is Press for Time coming back? And I said, yeah, it has to be because it's much loved, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, enjoy your weekend, guys. We will see you all next week. We love our audience. If you want to get in touch as well, reach out to us on our socials. We love hearing from you. And also that competition for Adelaide United. Win tickets to them playing MacArthur in a few weeks' time. And also that it's a double header as well. You can see some NPL local action. FK Beograd taking on the NPL youth team of Adelaide United. Go enter on thelocalgame.com.au/win right now. And, well, good luck. And Alessio, good luck this weekend. State League 2 South kicks off for you. All the best, and hopefully you guys can make finals this year.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on the show as well. It's been another great week, and I'm sure next week's going to run a bit long with all these results.
Yes, we've got to need more time. I might have to hit up Channel 44 for some more time. Anyway, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you all next week. That's all from the local game.